Take a drive through almost any city or suburb in North America, and you'll notice something striking but all too common: a landscape dominated by single-family homes. Wide streets, manicured lawns, rows of detached houses, each sitting neatly on its own little parcel of land. For decades, this has been the default pattern of residential development across the continent. While it might seem ordinary or even natural, this pattern wasn't inevitable. It was specially designed, and more importantly, it was vigorously enforced. Since the end of World War II, North America has pursued a very specific idea of what housing should look like. These ideals have been written into law through zoning regulations, which dictate what properties and structures can and cannot be built on specific pieces of land based on their size, location, and other factors. These zoning laws, introduced and expanded in the mid-20th century, were meant to organize cities, separate incompatible land uses, and promote orderly development along with public health and safety. But in practice, they did something far more profound. They locked in a rigid hierarchy of housing, with single-family homes placed firmly at the top. The result? A sweeping set of rules that made it against the law to build the kinds of homes that fall between detached houses and high-rise apartments. We're talking about duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, courtyard buildings, townhouses, small-scale apartment blocks. These are what urban planners call missing middle housing. These are homes that are more affordable than single-family houses, more space-efficient, and more adaptable to the needs of different families and lifestyles. And yet, in most North American cities, they simply can't be built. Not because people don't want them, not because they don't make economic or environmental sense, but because sets of zoning laws say that they should not be allowed. In many cities, more than 70% of all residential land is zoned for single-family housing only. That means no multifamily dwellings, no attached units, no buildings with more than one kitchen or entrance on 70% of the land. In practical terms, it means that even in a major housing shortage, even when demand is extraordinarily high and prices are out of reach for millions, the law still protects the right to build mainly one kind of home, the most expensive kind.
This didn't happen by accident.
These zoning rules were part of a broader post-war vision of what cities should be: quiet, low density, car-centric, and segregated. These segregationist zoning regulations were not just decided by land use, but often by class and race. Zoning became a tool not only for shaping buildings, but for shaping communities, often in ways that attempted to exclude lower-income families, renters, and people of color. The medium-density housing that we now call missing wasn't always missing. In fact, if you walk through older neighborhoods in many historical U.S. cities built before zoning took hold, you'll often find beautiful, well-integrated examples of it. A small brick fourplex nestled among single-family homes, a corner triplex with a shared garden. These places still exist. They just can't legally be built anymore in most parts of the country. And that's a problem, because without these in-between housing options, we're left with a false choice: a huge, expensive house that few people can afford, or a large apartment building that can only be constructed in specific, high-density zones. There's nothing in the middle for first-time buyers, young families, aging adults, or people who simply don't need or want a 2,500 square feet dwelling and a two-car garage. Other countries have taken a very different approach. In places like the Netherlands, Germany, and Japan, medium-density housing is everywhere. It's normal, it's legal, it's encouraged, and it creates neighborhoods that are more walkable, more affordable, and more vibrant. This happens without sprawling out endlessly or forcing everyone into a tower. With more amenities being within reach, the people in these countries rely less on cars and more on walking and biking. Public transportation is more advantageous in dense areas as well, which can be cheaper than owning a car. Not only will building more densely help with costs, it can help the environment and people's health at the same time. So the question is, why can't we do that here? The truth is we can, but we have to start by changing the laws that prevent it. That means reforming zoning codes to allow for a wider mix of housing types. It means legalizing duplexes and triplexes. It means embracing gentle density and rethinking what we believe an ideal neighborhood should look like. Because right now, the zoning laws that were designed in the 1950s are still dictating how we live in 2025. They are arguably the main factor behind the housing shortage, the unaffordability crisis, and the lack of choice that millions of people face when looking for a place to live. If we want to build better communities, those that are sustainable and more adaptable, we can't keep clinging to outdated rules that only allow one kind of home. We have to bring back the missing middle. And that starts with rewriting the regulations. Despite decades of restrictive zoning laws and a housing system built around the single-family home, some North American cities are starting to challenge the status quo. They're recognizing that the current model isn't working, and they're trying to fix it. One of the most well-known examples is Minneapolis, Minnesota. In 2018, the city made headlines by passing Minneapolis 2040, a comprehensive plan that, among other things, effectively eliminated single-family-only zoning. For the first time in modern U.S. history, it became legal to build duplexes and triplexes on residential lots that had previously allowed only single-family homes. It was a bold move that directly targeted exclusionary zoning and aimed to expand housing options across the entire city. Then there's Portland, Oregon, which passed its residential infill project in 2020. This policy allows up to 4 units on nearly all residential lots and provides even more flexibility, up to 6 units, if some are designated as affordable housing. Portland didn't just stop at legalizing more units. It also eliminated parking minimums and adjusted building size limits to make it easier to build what people actually need. California, too, has taken steps to chip away at the single-family zoning wall. In 2021, the state passed SB 9, a law that allows homeowners to split lots and build up to 4 units in areas previously restricted to 1 house per lot. While local opposition and regulatory hurdles still exist, the law represents a significant shift and a message to cities that the old rules can't hold forever. Other cities like Montreal, Edmonton, and Vancouver are also testing reforms. Edmonton has gone so far as to propose a complete overhaul of its zoning code, aiming to create 15-minute communities with diverse housing types, local amenities, and more walkability. These reforms are still young. They face resistance, legal challenges, and, in many places, backlash from residents who worry about change. But they're happening, and they matter for the future of affordable and sustainable communities. Because the reality is, until we make room for the missing middle in both our laws and our neighborhoods, the housing crisis gripping North America will continue. These cities are proving that change is possible. Expensive cities can become more affordable with more diverse types of housing. The question now is, can we change the way we build housing and live in our communities before it is too late? If you at all enjoyed this video or learned something from it, please leave a like and comment below to help boost the video. Consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this. Thank you so much for watching,